Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Homebound Hoedown. I think this is the 9th show, so you'll notice I'm in a little different location this evening. I'm back in Hoedown, Oklahoma tonight at my folks' place on the back porch here, soaking up some pretty Oklahoma weather, and it's good to be back. We took a couple week break, and it's good to be back making music for you guys. I've got a good friend of mine, Bill Whyte, that's going to join us tonight a little bit later. He's a writer. You guys have heard me say his name because I sing a lot of tunes that Bill and I co-write, and so he's going to join us a little bit later tonight. Excited about that. But yeah, I think we got maybe a few viewers here. So we'll kick this off in just a second. Start off with a song. I released this song the end of last summer. It's kind of a summertime smiling kind of song. You can listen to it if you're out fishing or out on the lake, water skiing or whatever. It's called "I'm Just Saying." If a woman like you and a guy like me by chance had a long weekend, if that guy knew a place overlooking the beach that belonged to an out-of-town friend, and if Miss Out of My League were so inclined to fall for a Hail Mary pickup line, I'm just saying, throwing it out there, just a little something you can kick around. We could be sipping this same drink we're sipping while we're watching that seaside sun go down. There's a white sand cabana, cozy little hammock between two palm trees swaying. I'm just saying. I ain't trying to talk you into something you don't want, but that bay is painted turquoise blue, and there's a lonely little boat that needs somewhere to go, just waiting on somebody like me and you. I'm just saying, throwing it out there, just a little something you can figure out. We could be sipping this same drink we're sipping while we're watching that seaside sun go down. There's a white sand cabana, cozy little hammock between two palm trees sway. I'm just saying. We could make waves on a blanket on the shore, speaking hypothetically, of course. I'm just saying, throwing it out there, just a little something you can figure out. We could be sipping this same drink we're sipping while we're watching that seaside sun go down. There's a white sand cabana, cozy little hammock between two palm trees sway. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Here you guys go. If you're just joining us, I mentioned earlier, this is the 9th Homebound Hoedown. You guys have been you've been great to support and listen and keep showing up, and I'm grateful for it. So we're just getting started here. We had a request on the last one to do Silver Wings, the Merle Haggard song. I recently got to go in here a couple weeks ago with my road band and record this song, and they knocked it out of the park. I can't wait for you guys to hear that. Merle Haggard song for you. silver wings shining in the sunlight, roaring engines headed somewhere in flight, taking you away, leaving me lonely. Silver wings slowly fading out of sight. Don't leave me, I cry. Don't take that airplane ride. You locked me out of your mind and left me standing here behind. Silver wings shining in the sunlight, roaring engines headed somewhere in flight. You're taking you away, leaving me lonely. Silver wings slowly fading out of sight. Don't leave me, I cry. Don't take that airplane ride. You locked me out of your mind and left me standing here behind. Silver wings shining in the sunlight, roaring engines headed somewhere in flight. They're taking you away, leaving me lonely. Silver wings slowly fading out of sight. Silver wings slowly fading out of sight. Little Merle Haggard for you. I'll play you guys a Western swing song that I wrote with Zach Runquist and me mom. Me mom's watching. Hey there. She loves the view from the back patio. Me too. It is good. It's good to see the view from the back porch. Thanks for watching. Anyway, I wrote this song with Zach Runquist and Bill Whyte. Zach is he's a fantastic. Hi there. We're watching each other. Perfect. Good times. So Zach is just an out of this world musician. He's played on the road, played fiddle and utility for Leanne Womack, Craig Morgan, lots of big name acts. And I've gotten to work a lot with Zach, and it's great guy, great writer. And Bill Whyte, he called and told him, he said, man, I've got this Western swing idea. And he said, I need your cowboy jargon on this song. So we got together with Zach as well. And Zach, just being the musician that he is, he put a bunch of hot licks on this song. But anyway, this is called All That Cowboy Jazz. We shot a music video of this song right here in Oologah, Oklahoma, at the Iron Horse Saloon. If Miss Connie Keck is watching, I hope you're well, my dear, and hope to see you soon. All That Cowboy Jazz goes something like this. I love rodeos by cracker, that big old bull they call bushwhacker. Puffed out cheek full of chewing tobacco and all that cowboy jazz. Riding horses at full throttle, little more western novel. Cowgirl lips on long neck bottles and all that cowboy jazz. Yip, 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 yippee-yi-yay. Yip, 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 yippee-yi-oh. Dance halls, bars, and honky-tonk lights, cutting the rug on a Friday night, throwing down later in the parking lot, fighting all that cowboy jazz. Yip, 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 yippee-yi-yay. Yip, 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 yippee-yi-oh. Wide open range and bald-faced cattle, front porch rail to hang your saddle, dinner bell that rings and rattles, and all that cowboy jazz. My best girlfriend is a buckaroo and likes cowboy stuff just like I do. We go together like foot in the boot and all that cowboy jazz. We'll tie the knot just like we planned, do a little buckle rubbing at our wedding dance. Spend our nights making little ranch hands and all that cowboy jazz. Yip, 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 yippee-yi-yay. Yip, 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 yippee-yi-oh. When it's time to ride away and I make it to St. Peter's Gate, I sure hope that he's okay with all that cowboy jazz. Yeah, I can't wait to hear angels play all that cowboy jazz. I wrote that song with Bill Whyte and Zach Runquist, and I'm excited that Bill is going to join us tonight. So I was looking back at all of our songs we've written together, Bill and I, and there's over 50 that we've written in the last, I don't know, 3 or 4, maybe 5 years. So I'm super stoked that Bill was able to join me on this Homebound Hoedown tonight. I'm going to keep bragging on you, Bill. So you just sit there and take it, okay?
Go ahead.
You just sit there and take it. I like it.
Go ahead.
Bill Whyte is a radio DJ Hall of Fame. He's had songs recorded by Joe Nichols, by Ray Stevens, Hillary Scott. Now that's Hillary Scott of Lady Antebellum, by the way. So he's had some heavy hitters record his songs. Spent a lot of his career in Cincinnati, moved down to Nashville, and he is one of the fastest songwriters I have ever worked with. This guy's sharp-minded, and he's got some fancy rhymes in there too, which I really like. Also, Bill is he's a fill-in DJ on WSM, which is, Air Castle to South, and he's had me on his show, and the morning show that he's hosted a time or 3 over the last few years. So now is my chance to ask the questions, Bill. So I'm glad that you're here to join me.
You can get even now. Go ahead. But before you do that, remember, I am sucking up tonight by wearing a T-shirt with a song title that I did not write of yours. So
hang on a second. I'm not hearing you, Bill.
You're not hearing me?
Do I need to change something on my settings?
Hello, Paul. Hello, Paul. Can you hear me now, Paul?
There you go. Now I got you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, before you start picking on me too much, I am sucking up and wearing a T-shirt with one of your songs that I did not write. That's how much I'm sucking up tonight. So there you go.
I like it. You look good in that T-shirt, Bill.
I know. Now, I know you wrote this song, George Jones, and I love that song. You wrote that with our mutual friend Dan Wilson and Cassidy Lynn, right?
Yeah.
So they got a T-shirt. But the song that you just sang, all that cowboy jazz, by God, we got that song title on a honky-tonk dance floor, did we not?
Yes, we do, man.
There you go.
It's right there on the floor, sure enough.
Yeah, so before Cassidy Lynn and Dan Wilson get too big for their boots, there you go. Yeah.
That's right. There's Connie right there. She's got it on her floor at the
Hey, good. Thank you. Thank you, Connie. I'm going to come out to Oolaga someday just so I can see that bad boy, man.
Right. You bet. Well, man, it's great to see you. It's been forever. We haven't seen each other in person in 3 months. And we used to ride about every other week in person. And then here we are. I hadn't shaken your hand in 3 or 4 months. But
Yeah.
it's good to have you here and good to see your face. What have you been doing, man? How are things?
Well, I've stayed pretty close to the house, like a lot of folks have since the quarantine, and I write, as you know, Paul, I write pretty much every day. But for the first time in my life, I haven't written a whole lot. In fact, I just wrote in person for the first time this past week with a friend who actually called me up and said, "Get out of the house and come over here and write. We can social distance and do that." And then we hooked up on a computer. But every day I'm doing this. I'm on a computer with somebody somewhere, writing songs, and I'm sure ready to get out and, write face to face again. That's for sure. So I just want to mention how much I love that song, All That Cowboy Jazz, too. That song turned out so great. And for your fans, that song was actually written in the Sony Publishing Building one day, which is right on Music Row, which is pretty prestigious because up on the third floor, they have all these writers' rooms, people that have written for Sony over the year, and they give you a room. So, I can't remember if we were in the Bobby Braddock room or if we were in the Hank Williams room or the Bill Anderson room or the Chris Christopherson room. So, but I think there was some good mojo working on it that day because it's really a great song. And Paul, you did a great job.
Oh man, that was a good day to be a songwriter for sure.
It was, sure was.
Yeah. So I've been bugging Bill for the last few weeks to join me on one of these, and I popped off and texted him earlier and said, "Hey, I want you to join me this Sunday night. Are you around?" And he's so I'm really glad that you're able to join me tonight, Bill. Sing me one of your favorites.
Well, you mentioned how fast a songwriter I am, and I don't know why that is. But let me give you a little example of a song that didn't take very long to write. So here you go. I'll give you that first.
There you go.
When she asked if I wore boxers and briefs, I said depends, and that's the whole song, Paul. So it didn't take very long to write that. Yeah. And so, hey, just down the line, Pepper, if you're listening, we're getting that little typing sound there. So I don't know if you can mute that out or not. So. Are you hearing that too, Paul?
I am a little bit, but it's not overwhelming. Can you hear me, Bill?
I can hear you. So, all right.
Okay. How long did that song take you to write?
Well, it's still a work in progress. It's pretty short. So when you come back to town, I think the song could go number 1 or number 2, but I'm not. So I'll let you know. So.
Or number 2. That's right.
Let me do a song that I wrote with you, Paul. I'll do one here. It's got a little smile to it, and we wrote this with Gerald Smith. And Gerald, if you don't know, Gerald's had a couple of number 1 hits. He wrote "What Part of No" for Lori Morgan. You probably know that song. And he was a cast member on Hee Haw for a whole bunch of years because he sounds more like a duck than a duck. He can quack like a duck. And his nickname is the Georgia Quacker. So
that's right.
Yeah. So the three of us sat down one day and wrote this whole song right here. And for those of you that are fans of my friend Mr. Bogart here, you probably have watched 9 of these episodes now and thought, my goodness, when is Paul ever going to do a dang Christmas song? Well, here you go, right here. We wrote this together. It's Christmas time again. I ain't hanging with a bunch of friends, but I got a glass that's chilled and some beer on ice. My Christmas tree's lit up, and so am I. So what? Don't you worry about me. No need to intervene. I'm all right. I ain't drinking alone. The dog's home, and he never says a word. Beats all I never heard. He never complains. Always the same, not like her. And he barks, but he don't bite. Fetches my cold Bud Lights, and there's proof again that man's best friend don't wear a skirt. I ain't drinking alone, no. the dog's home. Well, I don't have to buy jewelry or take out a loan. He's happy with a new dog bone, and he's always there for me, and she never watered my Christmas tree. So if I howl at the Christmas wind, I promise I'll howl with him. I ain't drinking alone. I ain't drinking alone. I ain't drinking alone. The dog's home. There's a little Christmas song Paul and I wrote together with Gerald Smith. There you go. How's that for a classic?
Christmas in June. I like it. How is Gerald?
Gerald's good. I actually wrote with him last week, Paul. He's been, definitely quarantined too. He's hardly left the house too, but he's doing well. He's a great guy. Gerald is.
Yeah,
gentle soul.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I've got a weird question for you.
Sure.
So here with this, I hate these new buzzwords and terms like the new normal and so forth.
Yeah.
I am curious. Just what is your favorite part about the last 3 months? Just because everything's upside down. Like what's some of your favorite things about the last 3 months?
Well, it's allowed me to. I think it's allowed me to catch up on some things. It's given me more time to, even more time to be creative because there's nothing else begging for my attention right now. And I get to see my wife and a little more, and my daughter. The two of us sit every night. We're binge watching Parks and Rec right now. So every night, my daughter, who lives up in Clarksville, is married to an Army soldier up there. We've got the laptops on so we can see her on the couch with our grandcats, and we can watch Parks and Rec together. So it's given us some more time to do that, and we kind of treasure that because they're getting ready to make a move as he got accepted into pilot school. So there's a big change coming in their life. So proud of them, and I'm happy to be able to spend some more, just like I know you must be there on the ranch to be able to spend some time with your kids and your lovely wife and your parents and friends out there.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. We've been out here, and my brother came in this last long weekend from Colorado. He and his family came out, and we had a little family get together, rented a cabin, did a little fishing, hung out on the lake for a few days. So it has been good this week.
Did you have the boys water skiing? Are they up on skis yet?
So Jet is 4, and we tried it this year and it worked. So we got forehead to forehead in the water. Okay, so I'm behind the boat, got my skis on, and I got my rope out here in front of me, and so Jet, his forehead is on mine. He's bear hugging my neck and has got his feet wrapped around my life jacket.
Okay.
The game plan was, all right, we're going to get up out of the water, and then I'm going to turn you around and sit you on my knee, and then put your feet on top of the skis in front of my feet, and then we'll hold on the rope together. And it worked. It worked. We had a good time. So we got all the pictures and so forth. I think we put up a video or a picture on Instagram. So good.
Man, when I was young, it took me a long time to learn how to swim because I was always afraid of the water. But I can remember, I ran around with a bunch of guys and they had a boat and they got me out to the lake and they just insisted that I was going to learn how to water ski. And I was deathly afraid, but jumped off and tried and dang near drowned before it was all over. And the best piece of advice that I got, I've never gone again, but the best piece of advice that I got from them was they said, you should let go of the rope, so.
Really?
So
drag you into the water? So
I'd fall in the water and I'd hang on to the rope for some reason for a while. And that's a good way to end your career shortly. So.
Yeah, for sure. Well, play me another song, Bill.
All right. Well, you mentioned the radio career, so I'm going to play you a personal song that I wrote a little bit about, my radio life. And Paul mentioned Paul's one of my favorite guests. I've had him on the radio a few times, which has always been fun. But my radio career took me from Cincinnati to Milwaukee to Indianapolis and Nashville, and was blessed to have a really long, really great career in radio. And so as a songwriter, you're always looking for things to write about. And when you run out of ideas, they always say, write about something And I had not really written any songs about that part of my life. And so that's what this song is all about. And I will tell you that at least 95% of this song is true, probably the most personal song that I've ever written. So. Well, I played Hank, and I played Cash. I drug a needle through the Eagles and a stack of wax. And I'm the butt end of that tired old joke. I got a face for radio. Obituaries and birthdays, I've read them both. They cut both ways. And I've pimped used cars at sales remotes. Yeah, I got a face for radio, just a voice that some folks like, hiding behind an on-air light. Now they put my mug on billboard signs. Listen weekday mornings 5 to 9. But when I wouldn't play their dang 10 in a row, they fired my face from the radio. And I made you cry, and I made you laugh. I've helped you kill time in a traffic jam. Now when the towers fell and then the Pentagon, I held your hands on 911. It's election time, get out and vote. PSA face on the radio, just a voice that some folks like, hiding behind a blinking on-air light. Now they hung my plaque in a Hall of Fame next to other faces you can't name. But when they look at mine, they'll say, you know, he's got a face for radio. That's all right by me. And if someday it's heaven for me, I hope I'll have a face for WGOD radio. There's a little radio song, you know. Almost all that's true.
Have you had your face on a billboard, Bill Whyte?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You're
couple of 3 times, and you know, and I think you were nice enough to mention. Got the shock of my life one year. I was in a writing session. The phone rang, and it was an old boss to tell me that they were inducting me into the Radio Hall of Fame that year in 2012, which was, you know, really such a honor and such a great evening. You know, when that happened, my friends Linda Davis and Lang Scott presented me that night. And, you know, my dad at the end of his life was blind from diabetes, and most of my brothers and sisters made it in. They were sitting on the front row. So, you know, and you know that feeling, Paul, it gave me a platform to say, thank you, Daddy, you know, for, you know, all you did for me, you know. So can't tell you how special it was. And the other part of that song, you know, people ask me through the years, and I've been interviewed about radio a bunch of times. And one of the questions that came up after the Hall of Fame induction that they put in Billboard was, what was your best moment on the radio? And I always tell them my best moment ever on the radio was also my worst moment on the radio, because I was doing the morning show at WSMFM, which was in the Opryland Hotel behind the AM studio that you know, Paul. So I'm on the air that morning, and Bruce Robinson, I had a songwriter's corner once a week. It was that morning, and Bruce Robinson was coming in, and I was a big fan of his. Had never met Bruce Robinson. So he no more than walked in, you know, the microphones are live, and the phone rang, and it was my boss saying, hey, turn your televisions on and turn them on right now. And so we're live, and I'm looking up at the television trying to think, what am I looking at here? And then when the second plane hit the second tower, you know, I realized what was going on. And our morning show that morning stayed on, and from 5 in the morning until 8 o'clock that night, I was on all day, and we were taking calls, and people were crying, and we had reporters, and we're trying to cover the event. And I can remember Bruce Robinson, you know, kind of peeked up and looked at the television, and we never said a word. And he saw what was going on. He'd had his guitar out, and he put his guitar in his case, and he shook my hand, and he left. And to this day, I've never said a word to Bruce Robinson. You know, so I keep hoping somewhere our paths are going to cross to reshare that story with each other, what he remembers and what I remember, you know, from that day.
I remember you telling me that story on one of our writing appointments.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that you hadn't ever spoken to him since then.
Not a word. Never seen him, you know, just.
Wow.
Yeah. He's in your state running down. No, he's in Texas, isn't he? Is he in Texas, Paul? Do you know? I think he used to be a Texas guy.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know if he was still out there or not, but anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, blessed to have a radio career, bouncing back and forth between music and songwriting and radio for a lot of years, you know, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, one of my favorite songs that I don't want you to go anywhere. I want to play one of our songs.
Okay.
We
is this the one, I Miss You Baby, but my aim's getting better? Are you doing that one?
You're such a dork.
I love it.
No, this is not that one. I'll sing that.
Is it There Ain't No Trash in This Trailer Since I Threw Her Out? Is it that one?
We'll sing that one when I play with Trent Willman.
Okay.
Yeah, he talks about some of that trailer trash in some of his tunes.
Okay, good.
No, this is a song. This is a lullaby that when after Jet was born.
Oh, I love this.
I started working on this lullaby because we were singing. I think it's Marty Robbins who did the song "Old Red." You remember that song? "Old Red was one of the orneriest jet I'd seen at the big rodeo."
Now I don't remember that song for some reason, and I'm a huge Western ballad guy, but it sounds like Marty Robbins to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, he's cut it. I know Chris Ledoux cut it. Anyway, I was singing that song to Jet when I put him down. Like, he's an infant. He's a little bitty baby. And I was singing him that song. And I remember telling you this. It's like, man, I've got to write him. I've got to write him a lullaby. So I started this, my own lullaby for Jet on an overnight drive coming back to Nashville from, I think, South Dakota. And I had written, if you remember, I'd written like too many verses. I didn't have a chorus written yet. And we had a writing appointment scheduled, I think, on that Tuesday. And I said, man, I've started this. I don't know if you want to write one this personal to me or not, and you just wrote a chorus. It's like, you need a chorus. And you wrote a chorus like right then. And we finished it up that day. It was a good day. But,
well, I will say, and you a lot of your fans know this song that you're going to sing, Paul, but I will say, listen to the first 4 lines of this song, because that's what Paul showed me that day. He said, he said, I remember you saying, I don't know if you want to write this or not because it's personal. And when you spit out the first 4 lines, I was just hooked, and I'm just so glad that you asked me to write this song, because I am so proud of this song.
Yeah, it's a sweet one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's called Buckaroo Lullaby. It's song number 10 on my Leather album, and Bill and I wrote this together. Go gather old buckshot, pour him some grain, curry the birds from his hide. Throw on your best saddle, tighten him up, crawl in the middle and ride. Down through the canyon, the river runs clear, coyotes howl like the wind. Old buckshot sure-footed
and he's been there before. He'll bring you back home again. Dream innocent dreams as long as you can. Go on, close your little blue eyes. And tomorrow night we'll sing it again. This Buckaroo lullaby. Buckaroo lullaby. Keep your eyes peeled as you go down the trail from bandits and ornery outlaws. And take that Red Rider and keep it real close. And always be quick on the draw. And dream innocent dreams as long as you can. Go on and close your little blue eyes. And tomorrow night we'll sing it again. This Buckaroo lullaby. Buckaroo lullaby. You'll outgrow your PJs, and this bed'll get too small. And like buckshot, away you'll both ride. But when you have your own, you'll still have our song to sing to him every night. So dream innocent dreams as long as you can. Go on and close little blue eyes. And tomorrow night we'll sing it again. This Buckaroo lullaby. Buckaroo lullaby.
Man, that's one of my favorite songs too, Paul. You know, we've written some songs I'm really proud of. I actually sing that song out when I'm playing shows. And
Yeah.
the great thing about songwriting sometimes is the challenge, you know, because the song is so personal to you because it's really your story. But the song is, I think the song is written when we make that little turn where you outgrow your PJs and this bed will get too small, that every parent can relate to that sentiment. If you're a mom and a dad, you relate to that sentiment. And you might not be able to get up on a horse. You might not relate to cowboys. It has nothing to do with that to me. It has to do with a kid growing up and tucking them in bed at night, whether they're a buckaroo or not. That's what's I think a great universal thought. And it touches people when I sing it, Paul. And I'm sure it must, you know, touch your fans, you know, when you're singing it too. So it's really cool, you know.
Yeah, good times.
You can do that some. I've actually done that a fair amount where I've been drawn into writing sessions where somebody will want to write a song that's very personal to them. And I'm always backing up as a writer and going, okay, I love doing that, but can we also, you know, is it possible to make it wide appeal so it relates to everybody? And that's not easy to do all the time. And the hardest challenge I think I had was, you know, and you mentioned it earlier, I had a cut called Safe Haven on the Hillary Scott and the Scott Family album. And the album, it won 2 Grammy Awards and won the Best Contemporary Christian Album of the Year. And Hillary Scott, who's the girl singer in Lady A, her mom is Linda Davis and her dad is Lang Scott, who's a great singer, and Riley, their youngest daughter. They all sing in that family. Well, Hillary lost her grandfather to cancer over a battle. And that's what inspired the album, was her grandfather's death. And so Lang had sent a note to me saying, hey, this is a note from Hillary, a paragraph that Hillary had written to a bunch of songwriters going, we're looking for songs for this project that Ricky Skaggs is going to produce. Here's who my grandfather is. And so she called him Paw Paw, and he called her Sugar Babe. And she always considered him to be her safe haven to run to in times of trouble. So I wrote that with Jimmy Fortune and Sidney Perry. And Jimmy saw the hook in Safe Haven, and we wrote it that day from that paragraph. And it was so personal, I thought, boy, if they don't like this, nobody will ever record it because it's so personal. And I'm sure I probably would have felt that way about your song, and I was wrong about that too. But they loved the song. It went on the album. And I found out, you know, we've had so many emails and people who've used that song for their own videos from the loss of a loved one in their family, or it relates to this big, wide audience that I had not counted on, in my life. And I feel the very same way about Buckaroo Lullaby. It's not just your boy. I mean, I know we wrote it about him, but I think it's any parent with a kid watching them grow,
Sure.
So
yeah,
love that song, Paul. So now and we also wrote a song about your second boy, and I know you played that a bunch, which is going to be on Paul's second album, I think, which is called I'm Not Humphrey. So look for that. And it's, but we wrote the I-40 birth song of your second boy. So this is my thought here while I'm in front of all of your fans, Paul, and you guys can vote. If you're chatting online, you can throw up some votes. I think you and Tanya need to get busy because a CD is like 12 songs. If you can give me 10 more kids to write about, we'll have an entire album. So you got a little time out in Oklahoma right now. You're not doing a whole lot. I'm just saying, get busy. Do me a favor.
Okay. Well, I'll run that by Tanya.
Okay, let me know what she says.
Okay, so you're thinking 12 cuts on this album?
I think 12 cuts, yeah, and maybe a bonus cut if you're up for it, so.
Okay. That'll work. Baker's dozen.
Yes, sir.
I'll see if she's available.
Yeah. So you've done a better job writing about your kids for sure. I can't seem to do that with my own. It's hard to write that stuff. I tried to write a song about my daughter when she was born. It was called Oops. But it didn't catch on nearly like Buckaroo Lullaby did. So.
I don't even know what to say, Bill.
Oops, Whyte's got a nice ring to it. So.
It's hard for me to like, Face for Radio is a serious song, and it's hard for me to like almost. And I've heard the song. I know the song. I love it. It's a great tune, but it
has humor laced in it, but it is a serious song. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Anyway, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, I'm done picking on you. Go ahead. It's your show.
Well, no, you were mentioning your daughter. I think that's where you're going. You're going to play one, possibly. I don't know. Yeah,
I will write you something that this is really not about her, but it was inspired by her. And what's great about this, I'll tell you the backstory. For a while, for 5 or 6 years, my daughter was a flight attendant for American Airlines. And so she always wanted to see the world, fantasized about seeing Europe and all of that. And that's the big reason I think she signed up to be a flight attendant, probably not realizing how much work it really is. But one of her first flights, I picked up the phone and I could see it was her, and I answered. And I knew she was in London. She was in London for the first time and excited. So when I saw it was her, I just picked up the phone like a smart aleck and said, "Well, hello, London." And then I thought, wow, that sounds like a song. Hello, London. That sounds like a song. So I had started part of it, and this is what's great for me because Paul allowed me in to write about his 2 great little cowpokes that he's got in his life. And this, I wasn't thinking it at the time, but I wanted this song again to have a broader appeal than just being about my daughter. So I actually sent what I had to Paul by email. I don't think we ever sat down and wrote it. I think we did it all by email because I had a little melody going and had a little chunk of it written in my mind. And Paul said, "Yeah, I like it. Let's write that song." So we did, and Paul sang a great demo on it that I just love. So it's not really about her, but it's kind of sort of about her. So my daughter, her name's Heather. And here's the other thing, Paul. I can remember going to the airport after that one time with her. And I had your demo on a CD in the car.
Sure.
And I said, "Hey, let me play you something," right as we were pulling up to the terminal. And I played her, I think maybe the first verse and chorus, and she started bawling. And she said, "I can't listen to that, Dad." I had to turn it off because she got so emotional about it, even though it's not totally about her. So you'll get it, I think, when I play you the song. I'm glad you helped me write this. Hello, London. It's me again. Half a world away from old Big Ben. Tell me how she doing now that she's on her own. Tell her I miss her down in San Antonio. Like the horses here in the stable, she always wanted to run. Me in Texas could not hold her. I'll bet we ain't the only one. Hello, London. Is it foggy today? It's probably hard to see her, but just in case, tell her I miss her, no matter where she goes. Whether she's in London or here in San Antonio. Like the horses here in the stable, she always wanted to run. Me in Texas could not hold her, and I'll bet we ain't the only one. Hello, London. I'm looking for the Queen. She left this cowboy lonesome as can be. I'll bet she's watching your River Thames flood. Lord, I hope it'll carry her back to San Antonio. Hello, London. Hello, Rome. Hello, Paris. This is San Antonio. So there's a little song inspired by my daughter that you helped me write, Paul. So
You bet. Good stuff, man.
yeah, man.
Well, Bill, it has been a treat. I sure appreciate you joining and hanging out with me on a Sunday night.
Well, I appreciate you having me, and I appreciate everybody kind of jumping in and watching the show tonight. Paul's one of my favorite folks to write with, one of my favorite people, period. He's just a solid individual I think that I've ever met in my lifetime, and I'm glad that we got to be friends through the years and started writing songs. I can see I can see some of my folks are on here too. So I want to, speaking of Linda Davis, I see that Vernell Owen is watching with her husband Jimmy. They're in College Station, Texas, and Vernell is the sister of Linda Davis, Paul. So they're watching today. So
Very
hey,
cool.
Vernell and Jimmy.
Very cool. Well, man, again, thank you, and stay well, stay safe. Here we go. They love you, Bill.
Well, they're quarantined and there's nothing new to watch. That's all that's going on, Paul.
Well, I appreciate him watching. Goodness, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, tell Kathy I said hello. Give her my best, and I hope to see you soon and shake your hand, and this will all.
Well, I appreciate you, man. I always have. Appreciate your friendship, and again, I'm not getting any younger, so we need 10 baby songs as fast as you can get them to me.
Okay. I think Tanya might still be watching unless she's putting the boys.
Well, she passed out. She probably passed out. She's no longer watching.
Yeah.
She's thinking, I'm not going down I-40 again with that maniac. No. So.
Yeah. Well, man, listen, have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you soon, okay?
All right. Take care, Paul.
All right. Thanks, Bill. See you. I really like that guy. Bill Whyte, one of the best. So I have some news. We are releasing another single this coming Friday. It's a song called "She Gets a Hold on You," wrote with Nicole Witt and Trent Willman. Really like this song. I'm really excited about it. I think Pepper has a link possibly in the text of this post where you can go pre-save it, pre-add it on Spotify and Apple Music, and that is super helpful to us. It helps as far as charting and so forth. So if you see that link, all you have to do is click on it. It will take you to Spotify or Apple Music or Pandora or Amazon, I think, whichever DSP you use, and you can pre-save it, and you'll be the first to hear it when it comes out on the 19th. So yeah, this coming Friday. I'll play that song for you. If Nicole and Trent are watching, nice work on this one, fellas. It's called "When She Gets a Hold on You." She shoots that pretty smile your way, and it feels like a bullet hole. All the other girls around you disappear just like gunsmoke. The first time you meet her, then you slip up, say mushy stuff about her around all your friends. Before you know what hit you, those green eyes are reeling you in. Hook, line, and sinker. Yeah, buddy, she's a keeper. When she gets a hold on you, she just has a way of making a full-grown man do things he swore he never would. Man, that woman's good. You'll be picking wildflowers, dancing in the rain. You won't mind it. You'll even be smiling. All the while she's tearing your world apart. She gets a hold on you. Good luck holding on to your heart. You'll be buying scented candles, trying to tidy up that man cave. She'll convince you that your favorite boots could use an upgrade to some new ones. You'll find yourself in yoga class or sitting on a church pew. She'll take you home to mama, and your daddy says, I hope you don't screw this one up, son. She gets a hold on you. She just has a way of making a full-grown man do things he swore he never would. Man, that woman's good. You'll be picking wildflowers, dancing in the rain. You won't mind it. You'll even be smiling. All the while she's tearing your world apart. When she gets a hold on you, good luck holding on to your heart. When she gets a hold on you with those soft, gentle hands, you'll walk through hell, feel that close to heaven again. Swear you're losing your mind, curled up sipping on wine, down on one knee with a diamond in the pouring down rain. You won't mind it. You'll even be smiling. All the while she's tearing your world apart. When she gets a hold on you, good luck holding on to your heart. When she gets a hold on you, good luck holding on to your heart. Brand new single going to be out this coming Friday. As I mentioned, go pre-save that one if you would. I would sure appreciate it. Also, I'm just remembering this. Here we are, an hour into this Facebook Live and YouTube Live. But if you would share this, this video on your Facebook page, that would also be super helpful, just in spreading the word about my music and my tunes. And I would be grateful. So if you would, that'd be super. I meant to play this song earlier when Bill was still online here with me, but he mentioned a couple of times writing songs with me about my kids. So I have played the Ballad of Exit 199 a time or three on this Homebound Hoedown tour, if you will. And I meant to play it with while Bill was still on the show, but he might still be watching. I'll play this one for him. Yeah, this is a true story about how Ace Bogart came into this world. Well, she was 9 months pregnant when we went to sleep that night. At 11:20 p.m., I was awoke. She was headed for the bathroom when she shouted out to me, "Paul, my water's broke, it's time to go." Well, the good news is the bags we needed were already packed and waiting in the trunk of the getaway car. So faster than a tire change to Talladega, we were gone. She said, "It's happening now." I heard her breathing hard. It was 30 minutes to Deliveryville, but at 100 miles an hour, it ain't that far. At exit 192, I-40 eastbound, her first contraction hit and darn near stopped my heart. I was gorilla glued to that steering wheel when I came to realize those Le Mans classes were a waste of money and time. And my wife confirmed that loudly when the next contraction hit and exit 196 went flying by. Now, every 20 seconds, it was like a siren going off. And her forecast was mostly clear and loud. And it went up 30 decibels at mile marker 198 when she yelled, "Paul, the head is out." Now, I didn't have a catcher's mitt, so what's a cowboy to do? Well, I was mulling over options when the answer presented itself, and it sounded something like this. Swoosh. It's true. I got St. Thomas on the phone, said boys were coming in hot. I poured more gas on that four-door runaway train. Well, then she calmly said, "Slow down a little. Might as well take your time now." And I thought to myself, I wish she'd done the same. Now, Ace Bogart arrived at 11:42 p.m. 7 pounds, 10 ounces, 19 inches long. Me and Tanya got a healthy little cowpoke, thanks to God. And y'all, we got this funny song. Someday they'll ask him where he was born. I know what his answer will be. Exit 199, I-40 eastbound, Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. True story, folks. Just leave early. We'll just leave early next time. Hey, listen, the mosquitoes are starting to bite. So I'm going to play one more song, and we'll call it a night, and we'll do it again ASAP. Bill had mentioned this earlier. I called him earlier today just to make sure everything was all good. He was still going to show up. He did, so I'm glad. He asked if I knew a truck driving song, and I said, "Well, sure." So here's a truck driving song. Bill, if you're listening, thanks again, man. We'll see you soon. Well, midnight headlight, find you on a rainy night, steep grade up ahead, slow me down, making no time. I gotta keep rolling. Well, windshield wipers slapping out a tempo, keeping perfect rhythm with the song on the radio. I gotta keep rolling. Ooh, I'm driving my life away, looking for a better way for me. I'm driving my life away, looking for a sunny day. Well, midnight headlight, find you on a rainy night, steep grade up ahead, slow me down, making no time. I gotta keep rolling. Well, windshield wipers
rapping out of tempo, keeping perfect rhythm with the song on the radio. I gotta keep rolling. Hey, I'm driving my way, looking for a better way for me. Hey, I'm driving my way, looking for a sunny day again. Hey, I'm driving my way, looking for a better way for me. Hey, I'm driving my way, looking for a sunny day again. There you go. Hey, I just had this thought as well. I can't end yet. Well, because it is Zach Farnham's birthday. He is my manager. And I should probably sing to him. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Zachary. Happy birthday to you. There we go. The show is complete. Listen, you guys, thanks again for watching, hanging out, and supporting. It is an encouragement to me, and again, I sure appreciate it. You guys stay well, stay safe, and spread the love, and we'll see you soon, okay? Good night, everybody.